Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantosti Abhadrani Vidunoti Shahasratam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verses 25 and 26. Verse 25. Vikrasyamana prasabham yavaneya baliyasha nandirvat tamasa svasta sakhayam suradam pura. Synonym: Vikrasamana, being dragged, prasabham, forcibly, Yavana, by the Yavana, Baliyasa, who was very powerful, no Avinat could not remember, Tamasa, by darkness of ignorance, Avistha, being covered, Sakyam, his friend, Suradam, always a well-wisher, Pura, from the very beginning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When King Puranjan was being dragged with great force by the powerful Yavana out of his gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the Super Soul. Purport: in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Lord Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surudham sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. A person can be in full consciousness and become happy and satisfied if he knows but three things. Namely, the Supreme Lord Krishna is the enjoyer of all benefits, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that he is the supreme friend of all living entities. If one does not know this and functions instead under the bodily conception, he is always harassed by the tribulations offered by material nature. In actuality, the Supreme Lord is sitting by the side of everyone. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayadese Arjuna Tithastati 18.61. The living entity and the super soul are sitting side by side in the same tree. But despite being harassed by the laws of material nature, the foolish living entity does not turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead for protection. However, he thinks that he is able to protect himself from the stringent laws of material nature. This, however, is not possible. The living entity must turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrender unto him. Only then will he be saved from the onslaught of the powerful Yavana or Yamaraja. The word Sakyam, friend, is very significant in this verse because God is eternally present beside the living entity. The Supreme Lord is also described as Suradam, ever well-wisher. The Supreme Lord is always a well-wisher, just like a father or mother. Despite all the offenses of a son, the father and mother are always the son's well-wisher. Similarly, despite all our offenses and defiance of the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord will give us immediate relief from all the hardship offered by the material nature if we simply surrender unto Him, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mam evaya prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Unfortunately, due to our bad association and great attachment for sense gratification, we do not remember our best friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 26. Tam yagya pasavonena samyatva ye dayaluna kutaraistichudu krudha smaranto miyam astayat. Synonym: tam him, yagya pasava, the sacrificial animals, anena, by him, Sapyatpata killed, yea, all of them who, Adayaluna by the most unkind, Kutarai by axes, Chichidu pierced to pieces, Kruda being very angry, Smaranata remembering, Amivam a sinful activity, Asya of him that. Translation: that most unkind king Puranjan had killed many animals in various sacrifices. Now, taking advantage of this opportunity, all these animals began to pierce him with their horns. It was as though he were being cut to pieces by axes. Purport: those who were very enthusiastic about those who are very enthusiastic about killing animals in the name of religion or for food must await similar punishment after death. The word mamsa, meat, indicates that those animals who we kill will be given an opportunity to kill us. Although in actuality no living entity is killed, the pains of being pierced by the horns of animals will be experienced after death. Not knowing this, rascals unhesitatingly go on killing poor animals. So-called human civilization has opened many slaughterhouses for animals in the name of religion or food. Those who are a little religious kill animals in temples, mosques, or synagogues. And those who are more fallen maintain various slaughterhouses. Just as in civilized or human society, the law is a life for a life. No living entity can encroach upon another living entity as far as Supreme Lord is concerned. Everyone should be given freedom to live at the cost of the Supreme Father, and animal killing, either for religion or for food, is always condemned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 16.19, Lord Krishna says, Tan aham dvisita kruran samasareshu naradaman shipami ajasram ashubhan asuru eva yonishu. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me in the ocean of material existence into various demoniac species of life. The animal killers, Dvisatha, envying other living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are placed in darkness and cannot understand the theme and objects of life. This is further explained in the following verses. End of purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desha Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to read from Srimad Bhagavatam this morning for my own purification. And please forgive me for any of my misinterpretations or any of my own interpretations while speaking on these verses. So right now in King Puranjana's story, we are seeing that how he is approaching death and he's being taken away. The soul is being pulled away from the material body. And we saw that everything was turning into ashes yesterday. You know, how the city of 9 gates was being destroyed and King Puranjan was being pulled out of the city, which just literally means that the soul is being pulled out of the material body. And so here it is explained that in verse 25 about how the living entity, right? It really represents like all of us. We are the souls trapped in the material body. And throughout life, living entity is busy, enjoying, planning, identifying with the temporary body and positions. So this goes on and on and on. And if we remember 5 chapters back, when it was explained about how King Puranjan was getting introduced to the body, it was explained that there was also a friend called Avigyata. but he never took note of that person, that friend, Avigyata. So it explains that when a life happens, when somebody starts from the birth, right, at that time also, a living entity is not making a note or even realizing the presence of the super soul in them. That was what was explained 5 chapters ago. And now, fast forward, King Puranjan is on his deathbed, ready to leave his body, but he still doesn't remember Avigyata. Who is Avigyata? The super soul, who is right there along with the soul in every living entity. But we don't realize it, the presence of super soul. When we say we don't realize it, it is like at different levels, right? Like somebody who is not in any of self-realization, they don't even know that there is somebody called super soul within them. And then those who are practicing, they now have learned that there is super soul in everybody. But then again, how deep is the connection with the super soul? I guess that's another thing to consider, right? Because we may be aware, but how deep is our connection? Are we aware of the super soul in within our heart? So the main three things, right? When we act in this material world, when we identify, there are three important things, right? We think that we are the enjoyer, we think we are the doer, we are the owner of everything. And we also identify very strongly with the body. All of this happens because of ignorance. And in this verse 25, Srila Prabhupada is explaining and connecting this purport, this verse, with the verse in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, which is the Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. It is the peace formula. So when do we attain peace? Again, easy to being said than done, right? It is easy to say it, but how much faith, how much conviction do we have in this? Understanding Krishna's position that Krishna is the real enjoyer. Everything that we do is done to please him and not for our own pleasure. And Krishna is the owner of everything. We are instruments. We are caretakers, but we are not the proprietors. Even in the temple, right? Whenever we have a temple or even in personal life, wherever, right? Whenever we are doing any of the services, how quickly can we take over, right? And we think, oh, look, this project happened or this festival happened because I kind of led the thing. If we may not say it in front of others, okay, in front of others, we will basically give, all the recognition, everything to others. But deep inside, we may feel that we definitely coordinated the program well, or we X, Y, and Z, right? Like whatever it may be. Maybe it's the kirtan. Oh, we were able to really do a very nice kirtan, organize a nice festival, whatever. But it's very easy for us to take over and feel that we are the owner of everything. But when we understand we are not, Krishna is the owner of everything and we are mere instruments. Actually, if we think like that, it takes so much pressure off of ourselves, because we feel a lot of anxiety, we feel a lot of stress when we feel that we are the doer and we have to put everything together. Whereas the moment we think that we are merely instruments, Krishna, use me in your service as you may please. And then give all the results to Krishna. It is such a relief, actually. It is such a pressure reliever because otherwise, we can just take all this burden of responsibility on ourselves and thinking that we are the doers kind of a thing. And then lastly, Krishna is our best friend. Now, this requires a lot of faith to understand and accept the fact that Krishna is our best friend. In that verse, it clearly tells, right? He is our well-wisher and he's never going to leave us alone. Even if we forget him. Can you imagine, like, we have forgotten Krishna for how long, how many lifetimes we have forgotten? But every time a living entity is taking a body, Krishna as a super soul enters into that into the body along with the living entity. And he's always accompanying every individual soul. So that again, as I said, we can speak about this how much ever we want, but how much do we have that faith that Krishna is there for us? He is our best friend. He is our well-wisher. He always means to do the best for us. Once we feel that, once we have that confidence, we will definitely have so much peace of mind. And that is why that verse is also said as like the peace formula, right? That Krishna is always there for us. And how does he come across also, right? He will also send representatives. Everything that happens around us, it is all through his representatives, and everything, he is the one who is arranging also for everything. Once we understand that, we will be able to really take more and more shelter of him. So just like a loving parent never forgives, right? Sorry, but a parent will always forgive, but they will always forget anything the children done mischief or whatnot. The parent will always forget that and forgive the children, whatever they do. Similarly, Krishna is always our parent, our well-wisher. We have done so many things. I mean, not that we have done, we are even doing now, right? We are doing so many things. If you think about that, all of our actions, are we always aligned with the scriptures? No, we are not. But he forgives. He is such a big forgiver. And also, he's always there to support us, always, no matter what it is. So the moment we sincerely turn towards him, he's always there, just waiting to help us, free us from fear, anxiety, the control of material nature. That's really the key factor here in this verse, that if we really remember Krishna and take his shelter deeply, we are going to get all of the peace in the world. It's a matter of turning towards Avigyata, turning towards the super soul and taking really strong shelter with him. So that was from the verse 25. In verse 26, the emphasis was regarding meat eating, right? I mean, we know that it is one of the main important principles from the four regulative principles that we don't eat meat. So it's explained in this verse, right? Mamsa. What does the mamsa refer to? It means me he will eat. Ma-am-sa. It's like me he will eat. It means that whom I kill for eating today, in the cycle of karma and rebirth, one day that other person will eat me. And this really sounds very harsh, but that is really what it is about the karma, right? And that's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining here, that it's very important that we like not support animal killing or any of that in any form. And also here in this world that we live in, everything is so much like hidden that you can't even tell what is contaminated with meat or what is it. So it's just that as devotees, we just have to be very careful. And then in a world where violence towards animals continues on a massive scale, right, with the factory farming and slaughterhouses and everything like that, we just have to be very much like non-supportive of anything, So it really, the deeper message is that what is being explained is about compassion. Real religion is really compassion. And it is not just about animal killing and all of that, right? When all of that happens, it really darkens our consciousness and we lose our ability to see others as souls that are connected with Krishna. Because if we are involved in anybody's that is involved in any of that, the consciousness will darken, and also in the future life they are going to be sent to lower planetary systems, and we know about all of that. We have learned about meat eating. So it's very important that and as I said, it's not just about meat eating, but we also have to be careful of our words, our speech, our thought process, even our actions, all of it, right? So how are my actions? Are my actions bringing more peace or more pain to the world? And also, am I living in alignment with compassion? These are just some of the reflections that we can have for our own. And just remember that violence whether against humans or animals, it creates suffering. And in the long run, we have to think that all of that is also coming back to us. So that's really what it is. So really, when we are practicing, we have to remember, Krishna consciousness is always founded on compassion, empathy, and respect for life. So that is really the foundation. So from this story, right, King Puranjan, with these two verses, we learned the important 2 points. The earlier verse 25 really emphasized on taking deeper shelter of Krishna, and then the verse 26 is really emphasizing and how do we live that? How do we live a life of compassion? That's really the main 2 points of emphasis from this. Thank you again for this opportunity. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for excellent summary, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful summary.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for the nice summary.